What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Wednesday, October 25th, 2017.
What?
I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside Luna's Robin Hunicke.
Lovely to be here.
Thank you for coming back. You did the Kinda Funny Games cast with us a few months ago
So fun. It was like, I think 2 months ago.
Yeah. And I loved you so much, I knew I had to bring you back for
Well,
this.
you know, it's just like, fam now.
Exactly. Well, exactly. You're Kinda Funny approved. You're Kinda Funny fam now. Exactly. You get it. People on the Gamescast at the time, they knew you from, you worked on Journey.
That's right.
You had done stuff with that game company. Now, of course, Luna, your new VR game.
That's right.
Out.
It's out right now.
How's that feel?
Oh my gosh. It's a rolling launch. So it's VR is out right now. And November 22nd, the PC version drops on Steam. Very, very excited to get it out there. Nerve-wracking. It's always nerve-wracking pushing a title out. Updates. So much good stuff to put in it. But I'm getting pretty excited about the next push.
Has feedback been good?
Yes, it has. Actually, there's kind of two groups of people with Luna. There's the people that are like, it's so chill. It's a beautiful piece of artwork. I love space gardening. And then there's people who are like, it's not hard enough.
Yeah. Where's the challenge?
Garden harder. I want more difficulty. And it's like, it's not for you. That's cool. It's fine.
For some people who, for some reason, didn't watch the Kinda Funny Games cast, shame on you. What's the elevator pitch for Luna?
Luna is a space gardening game. Okay. No.
There you go.
That's actually one of the things that's emerged since it came out is that people really just dig the gardening. But it's effectively an interactive fairy tale. And what we did was we really tailored all of the gameplay and the cutscenes and the way that you interact with all the characters to VR.
Yeah.
And then now we're bringing it over to the PC so that people who have little ones or don't have a VR rig or get a little bit when they play VR can still enjoy the beauty of the world.
Great.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I'm a big fan. For now, though.
For now.
Let's start up Kinda Funny Games Daily. If you didn't know, each and every weekday on a variety of platforms, we run you through the biggest nerd video game stories in the world. We give you our perspective, a little bit of input. We give your questions answers. We talk to you. We have a good time because we're all best friends. If you like that, you can watch us record it live on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. Or if you don't want to watch live and want to watch it later, you can go to youtube.com/kindafunnygames or listen on podcast services around the globe. No matter how you consume the show, you need to be part of the show. kindafunny.com/KFGD to get your questions, comments, and new segments read. And remember, if you're watching live, we're not looking at the chat, your job is to go to kindafunny.com/you're wrong. Tell us what we screw up as we screw it up. So at the end of the show, we can look at it, set the record straight for everybody watching or listening.
Good job, you
later.
people.
Luna is out.
It's true.
For us, party mode, it's party mode day. Right now, there's a new party mode up on YouTube. It's Slender. And then if you are supporting us over on patreon.com/kindafunnygames at $1 level, you can get next week's party mode, which is the second part of Friday the 13th. Nick is Jason, and he is not good. He is not good. But for now, let's begin the show with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Time for some news. 5 items on the Roper Report.
A baker's dozen!
Let's go.
We got all these bits, All right. Number 1, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp is taking the world by storm.
I am so excited about this.
Did you see all this last night?
I'm over the moon.
I feel like the entire game's Twitter, everyone's heart of stone softened, and they were like, oh, Animal Crossing on my phone, I'm all in.
What I'm really thinking about is how little work I'm gonna get done now, and like all my friends that I used to text and send, pictures to, Instagrammers,
now you'll send
Snapchatter folks in my fam. Sorry.
You can send them cherries now.
It's just going to be screenshots of this game. It's going to be terrible.
Yesterday at that Nintendo Direct, they announced Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. Let me give you the rundown straight from Nintendo. One of Nintendo's most enduring franchises, Animal Crossing, allows players to live a whimsical life as they interact with a wide range of other animal characters brimming with personality, decorate and expand their home, and learn more about the community they are a part of. In the first Animal Crossing game for mobile devices, you can interact with animal friends, craft furniture items, and gather resources while managing a campsite.
I mean, that's amazing right there.
Exactly.
But it just keeps going.
Animal Crossing Pocket Camp launches on iOS and Android-compatible mobile devices late November. Here's the bullet points. Create your personalized campsite manager avatar. It looks like your normal.
Yeah,
it's your Animal Crossing guy.
Yeah.
By gathering resources like fruit and wood, you can craft items for your campsite. These include, that's totally rad. These include furniture and decorative items like couches and benches, as well as blankets and plants. To craft items, just speak to classic Animal Crossing villager Cyrus to put in an order. Now here's where I think everybody gets scared.
Yeah, it's a little bit.
Leaf tickets.
Yeah.
Leaf tickets can be earned through regular gameplay or purchased using real-world money and can be used in a variety of ways in the game. For example, they can be used to shorten the time needed to craft items, more easily acquire materials, or acquire unique camper exterior designs.
And I'm a design nerd, and I know that what's going to happen is I'll get the basic stuff, and then I'll just be like, oh man, this couch doesn't go with this rug. And then I'm going to end up spending like thousands of dollars.
I want to come back to Leaf tickets in a second.
It's going to be rough.
I want to run through the rest, but then you're a developer, you're on the inside. I want to know what you think about the microtransaction. Friendship level in Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. You can chat with your animal friends to fulfill their request to raise your friendship level. If you level up your friendship or decorate your campsite with an animal's favorite items, she or he might pay you a visit. BHFF, best human friends forever. Not all of your friends in Animal Crossing Pocket Camp will have fur or feathers. You can send your in-game player ID to real-life friends who also own the game to have them visit your campsite.
They also may have fur or feathers. You don't know.
Yeah, who knows what they're going to have. They're definitely going to have leaf tickets. Random player avatars will also visit the campsite from one time to another. Once someone visits, you can exchange your bells for items saved in the market box. Similar to past Animal Crossing, time's actually working. There's a area map with more to explore, including you can travel in your camper to a beach, forest, or river, or even an island.
Yeah.
There's a marketplace to go buy stuff from that. And of course, characters like Timmy, Tommy, and the Able Sisters will be there for your stuff. And then expanding camp life, in addition to all the fun things you can do in the game, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp will eventually offer seasonal events to keep the experience fresh and surprising, as well as limited time furniture and outfit options through game updates. These events and updates will begin rolling out after launch.
Yeah.
Overall, you're super stoked.
I'm super stoked. I'm excited. I think that they know better than to make the game completely nickel and diming. And I think that what you're going to see is if you're kind of a casual fan, you can probably get through the game. But if you're somebody like me who gets obsessive and really, really wants everything to be perfect, you'll feel like you can just kind of tweak it just so.
Right.
I'm hoping it's that way. I'm just hoping that the Leaf tickets aren't like, that the economy is adjusted so that I don't feel like I'm getting gouged for the really special things. I'm willing to spend a little. I just don't want to be like, you know.
I hear you. This is interesting because, of course, they're going, it seems like, the opposite direction of what Mario was, right? Where Mario was like, no microtransactions, pay us up front. There you go.
Yeah.
I just read all of that. I didn't even pay attention. It's free, right? It's a free download? Yeah, I didn't see them shout that out, or maybe I just read through it and didn't register.
I mean, so you get it, and so you're getting people on board. And not everybody's going to want to do Animal Crossing the way that some of us do, but that doesn't mean that it can't be fun.
100%.
You know, you check it out. And then, like, yeah, if you get hooked, then great. You're working, you're grinding, you're making stuff, and then occasionally you're visiting the store, putting in an order. You're getting your friends to come and play with you. Maybe there's a way to get Leaf tickets for sharing the experience with people.
Sure, spreading it like a virus.
Spreading it like a virus, like Farmville. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. It's already been done, so they can't get blamed for it.
Oh, cool. Yeah, they for sure can't get blamed for it, but there'll be a million other things around it. No, it's interesting. I don't want to judge anything until I'm playing it and knowing it, but I'm with you in the way that I feel like they know what they're doing.
It's a
in
kind
terms
franchise,
of like not screwing this over and making it be like when I first start off and Tom Nook's up my ass about something. I owe him how many bells
He's just
for
like,
this.
you owe me 5 million bells.
Listen, man, I just moved here to this campsite. Stay off my back about it. It'll be interesting to see, how they're integrated and what they do with it.
And it's also just nice to have it on the phone. Like,
it's
been a long time since I've had something that was continuous that I really wanted to spend time with on the phone. And then now to be able to play with friends, like, oh my God, maybe Tim Schafer and I can be friends.
I don't think so.
You know,
he's
maybe
a big jerk.
Maybe. Maybe if I send him an invite, he'll play with me. Maybe.
Well, that's the thing of why I think it's a great fit, right? Is that, especially with Animal Crossing being the real world, the time that is in the, it makes so much sense of, no, I don't have 15 minutes. The pairing makes sense. I don't have, the hour at home to play, but I do have the 15 minutes in the morning on the way to work.
Or when in the line
on lunch break, in a line, when I get home in between, cooking and playing other games.
When I'm at the airport, which is where I'm always at.
Exactly, yeah. But to check in and play this, it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
So now, the big question I think a lot of people are shouting out, there's two, I guess.
Okay.
First off, I guess we already talked a little bit about Leaf tickets.
Yeah.
How bad are microtransactions? You're a developer. Where do you come down on all this?
I think that
Luna is pay to win, right? That's what I heard.
Luna, you pay and that's it. It's a one-shot deal. Because we worked on it for a long time and we kind of figure like, all right, this is the thing. You pay it and you play it, and it's a narrative title.
Yeah.
When you design for microtransactions, if you build the curve right, I think it can be very pleasant. Like, maybe you want to spend on average about $15, $10 for the full experience if you're really picky, maybe $5 if you're not. Like, that's a reasonable range. Like, the question is, do they really tune the experience for whales? And if that's the case, like, do those players impact the experience of people that are not whales? And I think, you know, it's really the competitive online games where you can pay to win, you know, or pay to watch other people suffer. That's kind of a little bit bad. Yeah. You know, but if it's like pay to give your friend gifts, like, it's kind of hard to hate on that. Yeah,
that's what's going to be interesting about it. I feel like for those first, if it's like a traditional Animal Crossing, because I love Animal Crossing. Yeah. If it's like a traditional Animal Crossing, right? It's like, those first few hours of that game is going to be, the couch is mismatched and my wallpaper doesn't make sense. And it doesn't matter because I'm going to get stuff later. I'm going to get a second story and blah, 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 blah. So if it is that, I've put 10, 15 hours into this game and I'm like, all right, now I really want to pimp this place out.
Yeah, I want the record, like the crazy record player, you know, jukebox thing, or I want the guitar and the jukebox. I want that, exactly. To get that stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense, right? And let alone the fact that always goes back to what I'm saying of like, all right, cool, I've put 15 hours into your game. You deserve some money. Yeah. I should figure out a way to pay you. And maybe it is, like to what you're saying, it's not competitive. It's going to be that I pop over to your house. By the way, we're going to be friends. This is already agreed.
It's going to be great.
I pop over to your campsite and I see something cool you have. I'm like, oh man, how'd you earn that? And you're like, when I bought it, or I did this, but they are selling it. It's like,
or I made it and I can make you one. You know, I'm going to spend some Leaf tickets on you.
Get them Leaf tickets going or whatever.
You know, girl, I will give you the finest Leaf tickets.
I got premium Leaf tickets over here. So then, as a developer, where do you come down? Do you take more of offense or any offense to $60 games now, including microtransactions and doing all this?
You know, the thing is, games are expensive to make, and a $60 game is usually a very big game that took a long time to make. And there's a lot of people that are working on that team that are really hoping that they get a bonus at the end of the year. You know, so I kind of feel like developers often really undervalue the work that they do. A lot of games come out and they're already on sale, like as soon as they come out. And people ask me, is like, you know, should you release your game and then immediately price drop it? The question is really more about like, what's the value of the labor that goes into it and how hard did these people work? Like for a game like Destiny, you know, that's a lot of people working on that game. Yeah. And so like, sure, you know, it makes sense. If you put out something like The Witness, you know, you spend 5 years of your life making it. Yeah. It's like you and 6 other people. I get that. Like that's $10 a year. Plus a little tip, you know? So, you know, you think about it that way as like, think about the people behind the title. I don't object to the title costing a lot. I do think that one of the things that's great is that the cost of creating them and selling them is being helped by digital distribution. Of course. Which, you know, we can talk a little bit about that later. But I think that right now, if a game charges $60 and it doesn't deliver on the experience, I mean, you see that people are really harsh on those kinds of things.
100%.
You know, so I think the market kind of regulates itself in that respect.
Yeah, I think to bring you up to speed, like it's been an ongoing thing, I would say, over the last 2 months, if not the entire run of Kind of Funny Games Daily since we've launched in the summer. The loot box, the microtransaction, the death of single player, and how this is all tied together.
The single player thing is it's very interesting. You know, there's a lot of interesting stuff happening in that space right now. Yeah. Especially that single player conversation.
Are you worried about the single players?
No, I just think that things come and go. There's always phases.
Exactly. Right. Everything runs in cycles.
It's just the way it is.
The other big question so many of you wrote into that I didn't bother pulling it for a person to do it is the fact of what do you think this does to Animal Crossing on Switch?
Well, so that's the thing. Yeah. I don't have a Switch.
What?
I know. And I have to come out of the closet.
You fly all the time.
This is the thing. I didn't invest in it because I wasn't sure that I was going to want to.
Understandable.
And I'm starting to feel like I'm going to have to because people are starting to get creative with the controls and do some cool stuff. Sure. But I've been holding off because I'm making a game. True. When I saw this announcement and realized that it was literally like I could have this on my phone, I actually yelped out loud. What? Like I was so excited because it's going to get me over the barrier. I don't have a regular commute. If I had a regular train commute, I would definitely have a Switch. Yeah. I just played the fuck out of my Game Boy Advance, and I love handheld platforms. But since I become like a grown up and I have to drive to work or walk to work, I don't really have the time. And then the flying, as we discussed, I'm often asleep. Yeah. I'm a plane sleeper. Yeah. So it's in airports really that I would play it. And and then I'm checking my mail. So I think this is going to be a gateway for me, honestly.
Interesting.
I think it's going to be that I get the taste and then I'm going to want to go back to my old ways and play it on the Switch.
My thought on it when they announced this is like, oh man, just put it on the Switch. Just like every time they're like, hey, it's a new Metroid. You're like, on 3DS. Fucking shit. No, what are you doing? Stop making 3DS. But like the way they talk about it here is the one where I kind of scratch my head and I go, well, that does sound pretty good.
It does sound pretty good.
Animal Crossing is the game where it is me popping in for shorter segments to see what's happening, who's around, and what the different world is.
And the content doesn't have to look that snappy, you know? Like, exactly. You know, the way that it looked when I was really obsessed with it, not that great.
Yeah.
Didn't matter.
Yeah.
It's in your imagination.
Of course, yeah. I remember getting that GameCube version and making all these janky-ass shirts, but being like, this looks cool. This is like, this looks like the shirt I'm wearing.
I love this shirt.
It's all blocky and crappy, you know what I mean? So, like, this is an interesting merging of, like, I don't know what this does anymore to Animal Crossing on Switch. I would say we're years away from now in Animal Crossing on Switch.
I mean, this is the thing. Like, you know, in the long run, you're gonna have to ask yourself, how much does the hardware business really float the content, and how much does the content float the hardware business? And if there's hardware that everybody has, and you can get your IP out on that hardware, like, why continue to become? You know, why continue to be a toy manufacturer? You can be an IP manufacturer.
Yeah.
You know, Nintendo is great at making lasting IP. They're especially good, and I think they used to do this a lot with the handheld platforms in particular, of taking a small idea and just kind of putting it out there. Like, I played some really weird stuff at E3, you know, like, you know, games that, you know, you take the camera and it's your head and then you're like breakdancing, you know, with Mario. Or like, you know, it's weird, you know, like they do weird things. And then if it hits, then they expand it a little and then give it a little bit more juice, right? They really like Kirby, you know, they give franchises a chance to expand into the platform. And so if they can do that on mobile, it'll really reduce the amount of cost that they have to get things out, which hopefully will iterate quickly, and then you'll see more really cool concepts coming out from them. So I'm not really like a diehard hardware person so much as I am really interested in those really awesome game mechanics that come like way down the line in a franchise like Superstar Saga. You know, like that was such a great game, and like wouldn't have come out at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
But they were like, ooh, how can we make this fun? They use the buttons, blah 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 blah.
Right.
So I think that they're actually really ingenious when it comes to that kind of thing.
It's a super weird moment for me of like, I feel like the announcement and everything else was kind of like a light switch where it's like, yesterday I would have told you like, yeah, it's cool, it's coming to mobile, whatever, I want it on Switch. And now this morning I read this and I'm like, this actually is really good. And how I don't sit down and play Animal Crossing for 5 hours at a time. So
well,
like,
and it's not about controls.
Yeah,
you know, this is the thing. It's not a tactile game.
And that's the thing, right?
It's collecting and grinding.
They announced Super Mario Run, and I was like, all right, cool, I'll try it, but I don't think, and I tried it, and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to stick around for this, but I can't wait for Friday for Odyssey, because that is a Switch game, and that is something I want to sit there and play.
Well, this is the thing, it is a Switch game, right?
Yeah.
What you're talking about is the mechanics in the game itself really, really draw on the platform, and like Animal Crossing never really drew on any platform mechanics, it was just a collecting and grinding game, and then like the coolest thing was the network component.
Sure.
So why not just like make that happen on the phone?
Yeah, which you're already connected and you're already ready to go.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too.
Number 2. You can pre-install Mario Odyssey right now on your Nintendo Switch. You can go buy it, pre-install it. It is 5.2 gigabytes. That's the news. And then
it's 5.2 gigabytes.
Joe Medforth wrote in
to
kindafunny.com/KFGD, just like you can. It says, hey, Robin and Greg. As the Nintendo Switch just got its first preloadable game worldwide with Super Mario Odyssey, what are your thoughts on digital versus physical and preloading games in particular? Mario Odyssey is my first time ever preloading a game, and to be honest, the Switch has me almost fully converted to digital when I used to be all about getting a physical game. The last game I got physically was the Legacy Edition of Metroid Samus Returns on 3DS. All the cool Metroid swag I got was worth it, but I missed out on playing the game day one because of the delays with mail. New Mario at midnight on launch has me super psyched, but I'd love to know where you both stand on this brave new world of digital pre-orders, preloads, and downloads. Stay groovy, KFGD hosts, Joe.
Well, Joe, as a developer, I think it's great to be able to do digital because you don't have the really hard deadline. You can get a patch up pretty quickly.
Sure.
And so if you find something in the like 11th hour with the game that's broken, being digital and digital distribution provided that the platform distribution tools that you have access to as a developer are on point, can be very, very easy. And it makes it a lot easier for us to save you from that pain of the day one bug.
Yeah.
So as a developer, I love digital distribution. And like preloading, I mean, that just seems like it's the next step.
Yeah.
Like, you know, what it does do is it means that we have to be ready 2 weeks earlier because we got to test the preloads and all this other stuff. So it does cut into our time a little bit, but then you just have to plan for that. So I think it's actually fantastic. I also just, for the record, I love it when a console just updates in the background and I can turn it on and I don't have to do the update myself. So I'm really a fan of like no touch, no difficulty technologies that just like magically have stuff on them that I want.
See, that's my thing. I always talk about like when people are like, what's your pet peeve? My pet peeve is technology not working right.
Yeah, it's so
There's
frustrating.
nothing worse than when I, like even last night, I got a new cookbook. I was reading through it. I was very much enjoying it. And I looked up at what my wife and her mother were watching on TV. And it was they were watching a cooking show. So I'd been listening. But I looked up and I went, oh. And she's like, what? I'm like, I don't know how you can watch this. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, the audio is out of sync. Our cable box does this thing where if you leave it on too long, it slides. And she's like, what? Oh, yeah, it is. And it's just like, well, I'm like, they're not. And I'm like, it drives me crazy. But then it's the thing of like turning it off, unplugging it, do this. It is when like the PlayStation gets borked for some reason. You're like, well, you're just supposed to do this. Why is this such a problem?
Yeah, you have one job.
The Wi-Fi isn't downloading fast enough. So we restart the modem and you do this. And it's just like, just go, do what you're supposed to do. So yeah.
Or buffer. You know, this is the sort of thing where like if you plan for this case, you can buffer the audio and the video input, and you can actually kind of build the machine to check and see what the bit rates are like.
Yeah.
And then it can be like, it can even just pause and then catch itself. It can do that pretty quickly where there's just a little bit of stutter. Like you can fix that problem in the hardware, but people don't anticipate it.
No.
It's like bad design.
Yeah. And so, for me personally, and I know I'm always very pro digital on the shows or whatever.
Yeah.
Preloads and all this, it's perfect. It's what I want.
So this is the other thing though. Like I do really miss the days of going to the record store or the bookstore and like hanging out and waiting for something that you really want to see, like whether it's a new comic book or a new game.
Yeah.
I grew up at a time when there were no digital anything and people listened to actual records.
What? How old
I know.
are you? 70?
I am 75 years old. But that feeling of digging in the crates and looking for things, hearing about something like, oh, there's this really cool new like West Coast rap group, like you should totally go and check out, look for like the Knots or look for AC Alone or whatever, and you go, ooh, and you're digging through it, ooh, the CD, you find it, and you're like, ooh, it's a cutout, no one else knows it's cool, but I do, and I got it for $5.99. Yeah. Like I miss that. Like I miss that feeling of being able to literally physically like look through a space and pick up stuff. But I kind of feel like what happened in the mid 2000s with games, like in game stores, is that they stopped having a really wide selection of things. Like I'm the kind of person that would like claw through and look for Mr. Mosquito or Dog's Life, you know, and I'd get it and I'd take it home, and because it cost nothing and it was super weird, it felt like a treasure to me. But that stopped happening, and it just became like walls of Call of Duty, you know, or walls of Grand Theft Auto. And like I know I'm gonna buy those games. I mean, I don't need to go to the store to buy them, right?
Yeah.
So that the allure of like packaged products for me has really faded as the selection has gotten more narrow and more focused and more marketed, because it's like, okay, well, if you know you're going to release 6 titles this year, they're all going to be blockbusters, then just, put them in my inbox on my console.
Give me the code and be done with it.
Let me just give you my credit card number, and then when it's ready, you just put it there, and please patch it ahead of time so that I don't have to do that work, right? Like the trip to the store is then just gas money spent, you know?
See, if this is going to sound weird, but stick with me. I have so many cherished memories of camping outside for my, my Wii.
Katamari was my big one.
Camping outside for my PS2, waiting for Weezer's album at Tower Records at midnight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like those are great memories, but they're also all kind of tinged with that anxiety I would get of like, am I going to get one? Am I going to am I going to be the 9th person in line and then they only had 8 copies or whatever? The people who capture that now in a way that I can really fucking love is midnight comic book movies at a reserved seating place. That is that's perfection of, we're all in this room. We're all here because we love this thing, and I don't have to do the movie theater thing of, fuck, there's already 15 people in line and we have to hold 6 seats, and how are we going to do this? And
oh man, you go in, there's the one person that got in first that's just trying to save a whole row, and everyone's just like, no.
Yeah, exactly, the fight. So like that's like with video games, it is the thing of like, I just like this so much better where it is. I loved my GameStop, wait in line, be there at midnight, do that kind of stuff. But I feel like the internet's also taken that over too, where it is everybody's so excited about it. And I know at 9 o'clock Pacific time on tomorrow night, that entire feed is going to be screenshots of Mario and people talking about it.
Yeah, you know, that's actually what I was just thinking about. Like, it might be really cool to release a game as a digital preload that had some kind of cool mechanic about getting in soon, being one of the first people to like get through stuff.
Yeah.
Like special rooms or things that you could see that if you were like the first explorers in the space, that would be really cool. You do like a worldwide launch at the same moment, and then like there's something special that you can see. This is what always happens when people ask me like about some weird business question. My brain is like,
that's why I brought you on.
What's the game design like juiciness that you could get out of that? And that'd be really rad. Like you're the person that like wherever you are in the world at you know midnight central, whatever, you know, like you're like or GMT -8, whenever the game comes out. Like no matter where you are, you're up and you're the first person to get through a gauntlet, you know, kind of like Ready Player One, you know, like this idea that there's something in there that you can see that no one else could see. Watch the gears turn as I add this to my next game.
Here's my follow up on that then.
Yeah.
I always notice when I can't wait for South Park, you know,
Fractured Butthole. It's coming out.
I get it. It's out.
Yeah, it came out the same day as my game.
Yeah, I get it and I tear through it. And I put like 8 hours in that first day, and I go to bed, and I wake up, and it's like coming to work, and they're like, "Well, how was it?" I was like, "Oh, it was good. This happened. I kind of." It's like, wait, did I just fuck over the people who work so hard in this game? Where I'm like so into your thing that I just want to consume it and be done with it. It's like they have these people running through, like, "All right, game's launched. Where's the gauntlet room? Where's what I need?"
I have a friend that makes comic books, and we were talking about this once. He was working like for months on this like large scale explosion in like space there was like a constellation and this huge like nebula in the picture, and there's an astronaut and it was like floating around, so he had to draw this nebula from multiple directions and all these, you know, pieces going away. And as he was drawing it, he sort of said to me like, I don't know why I decided to do this. Like, why am I doing this? Because like what's going to happen is the book's going to come out, like 50 people are going to buy it on day one, and they're going to flip through it and be like, yeah, it's a good story. It's just like the amount of energy that you have to put into something to make it really great has nothing to do with the amount of time that it takes to consume it, you know? And like if people rip through stuff because they really want to just like gorge themselves on the experience, that's one way to go. Luna's actually a really slow game, and like we encourage people to play slowly, but if you want to, you can just rip through it in an hour. Like you really can. You can speed run the fuck out of the game. And like that's fine. It's kind of though like why would you do that? Like why wouldn't you
that's
just
not how
like
it's meant to be played,
why wouldn't you just slow down? And so the question starts to become to me like how do you value your time and the time you spend with something? Like if it feels really nice, maybe you should spend some more time with it as opposed to just like I mean everybody does that, right? Like you buy the bag of Starburst and you open it up, and then like 30 Starbursts later, you're looking at the wrappers and you're like, I don't even remember eating those.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That wasn't the best.
I have a vague soreness on my tongue from all that.
I mean, as someone who's solely on the consumer side of all, it's something I've noticed in my comics and I've noticed in my games, and I've pumped the brakes on everything. Where it is like comic books very much are. I mean, I love comics.
You can just read through them so fast.
And I'd finish things and I'd look down. I'm like, I know the words and I know the story, but I didn't pay attention to the art. So now it is that thing where I usually take a look at the entire page, and then I go in and read the bubbles, and then another look at the page, and then get out of there. Yeah. Stuff like that.
Do you like the Charles Burns Monster Teens books, Black Hole? Have you read those?
I don't know if I know them, no.
Best comic series ever.
What is it?
Really, Black Hole is what it's called. Came out about 5-8 years ago. You can just buy the anthology now. It's awesome.
Charles who?
Burns. It's about teens that are living in a small town, and there's a sexually transmitted disease that causes you to become like some form of a golem. So everyone gets like a different thing. So like maybe you get like an extra mouth on your hand, or you get like a prehensile tail, and like over time the freaks have to kind of like leave their lives and like move out into the woods. And it's about a kid who engages with this group by accident by getting with a very, very sexy girl. Ooh. It's really good.
All right. That sounds great. All right. Yeah. Well, we do on the morning show, the show you walked in on earlier and ate the Oreo on, we do required reading for comics. I'll put that in there.
Yeah, it's great.
We'll get that for everybody.
Yeah, he's great.
Number 3 on the Roper Report, Kinect is fucking dead. This is via co.design. Co.design has an interview up there, but they say manufacturing of the Kinect has shut down. Originally created for the Xbox 360, Microsoft's watershed depth camera and voice recognition microphone sold about 35 million units since its launch in 2010. Damn, because that's bad, right?
No, No, that's a lot of stuff.
They're packed in with the Xbox One. What do you want me to do?
Fine.
But Microsoft will no longer produce it when retailers sell off their existing stock. The company will continue to support Kinect for customers on Xbox, but ongoing development tools remain unclear. Developer tools remain unclear. What do you think as a developer?
So I think as a developer that the coolest thing about the Kinect is that you can use it to have phone calls on your TV with people that are far away.
When we started Kind of Funny, it was that thing where we do Skype calls with people who support us on Patreon. Yeah. And like that became the default method of, plug in the Kinect. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then as soon as that was done, unplug it.
It's great because you can just like, grandma's on TV and then like, oh, grandma, you know. So I think there's a hardcore group of Kinect users who use it to actually connect with family and friends online or play. Like I have friends that actually, my friend Zach McClendon, who's he's a designer over at Double Fine. He works on the Psychonauts game. He and his partner Lulu and my friend Julie will play board games together over the Kinect.
Oh, wow.
So she's in LA, and she's a developer as well. She works down there. I used to work with her. She worked with me at EA. And they were playing the Sherlock Holmes board game together and just like puzzling it out, looking at the stuff together online, even though they're in San Francisco and she's in LA. So that's pretty rad.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, I think there's a hardcore group of people that are really using it who'll be bummed when it stops getting supported. But for now, that date is unknown.
Yeah, it'll still be there.
It'll be there. Just hopefully it won't break.
Wendell Clark wrote in to kindoffunny.com/KFGD and says, Bonjour. The Kinect has officially been discontinued by Microsoft, meaning they will no longer manufacture anymore. My question is, do you think the sales numbers for Xbox would have been drastically different had the console released without it? It is conceivable that they could have priced the console $50 below Sony at launch if they left it out. While debatable, Xbox One generally had a better exclusive lineup for the first 2 years. Were we looking at a much more evenly matched console war if not for that one clear mistake? Have a great day. XOXO.
These are one of those that's like life is complicated. I don't know, man. Like $50 cheaper might have made a difference, but I kind of think people buy content. They buy consoles for content. They buy for the exclusives. That's why developers like me try to get exclusives, because they know that it's going to drive people to the platform, and it's good for us. They pay us to be exclusive. The fans get something that they really want. Yeah. Like, I don't know that the $50 is the big player there.
For me, I don't think the Kinect's a big player.
Yeah.
The Kinect is a symptom of the problem, but not the problem. Yeah. The reason the Xbox One didn't sell at launch and had to make up so much ground wasn't the fact that it had a Kinect. It was the fact that its messaging was so not what gamers wanted, clearly.
Okay, so what was the messaging? It was TV.
We wanted this to be the entertainment box of your living room, which everybody says except PlayStation 4. Where PlayStation 4 was literally like, this box plays games. We fucked up with the PS3.
Gran Turismo.
And they were talking to indies, right? Of like, this is a PC. It's no more of the cell processor.
Yeah, you don't have to do this crazy 6 SPU thing.
There's nothing. You can just come here and make cool stuff. Let's make cool stuff together.
Yeah.
Whereas Xbox went the alternative of like, hey, we're starting a channel with Spielberg, and there's gonna be Halo stuff, and here's Quantum Break, and it involves real stuff and the game, and it's TV, Call of Duty. Talk to your TV and make it play what you want and do all these things.
Yeah, so it's like the future is here in your living room, and it's Microsoft.
And it was one of those, like, it was a super interesting pitch, and there's still a huge part of me that would have loved to have seen them double down on it.
So that's a question. Like, I think sometimes we do this thing in games where we go, we're going to get bigger than games. And then we kind of take one little baby step, like we put the Kinect in there and we give you like a channel, or like we have like 1 versus 100 or something, you know, enabled in the network version. And then we just don't take the second step. It's like we get a little bit cold feet.
Yep, cold feet is the big part
when people aren't like, oh my God, it's amazing.
Second comment,
you know,
yeah, exactly.
Oh wow, like it's revolutioning TV for me or whatever.
Yeah,
it's like, well, it's hard to revolutionize TV, but it is weird. We do tend to sort of say we're going to be bigger than games, and then we just kind of retreat into our game shell. Yeah, you know, and like, well, this tech is actually just really good for games. So.
And that was the thing about Xbox One, is that they just didn't commit to their message. And I understand what it's
expensive to do that stuff.
It's that thing of, you know, you come out and you're getting hammered on all sides because PlayStation's saying the exact opposite. The fans are going crazy for that. You back off on, you know, the whole like how you weren't going to be able to share games at all or all this stuff. And Shu and Adam Boys put out this funny video of them just passing a game. Like, it was that thing of, what they needed was Matrix to step up and be like, haha, this is all very funny. We believe in this because of X, Y, and Z, and this is why. And the fact that they didn't, I think, proves that they didn't believe in it, and they didn't have that visionary behind it to say this is what it needs to be.
Yeah, or, you know, internally in an organization, you know, as a developer, there's always this case where like there's multiple people that are doing different things inside of Microsoft, right? There's many different like verticals or towers inside of Microsoft. Maybe there was one person there that really evangelized this mission and got a lot of people on board. And then when it kind of flopped, they weren't able to like get those people to support them anymore. It just turned into like all the knives were out. It's like, your vision kind of sucked. No, sorry, we're not going to support you. And that's just an organizational issue. So like, I think actually they're on the cover of Fast Company this month. And they're on the cover of Fast Company for having recovered from a culture that was really kind of knives out. And their new leadership is really focused on empathy and connection and like talking to each other.
Like, that's
and
the
so
thing.
Xbox is like killing it now.
Phil Spencer is great. He says all the right things, and it is about games, but it's like, it's so crazy to see like Crackdown continue to flounder because Crackdown was a, hey, we're a Gen 1 Xbox One idea of how this is cloud this and that, and we're in a and it's like, no, it just didn't happen. It's just
getting punished.
And so,
Well, so that's the thing is you have to be agile, you have to sort of be flexible, and you have to listen to the players and do the things that you need to do to grow as a developer, or if you're a platform provider, to do that. So let's just hope that it's neck and neck this round, because it's only good for developers if both platforms are doing well.
100%. Yeah. Well, now you got the third with the Switch too. Switch is off to the races. You know, it's hard to believe. And it's, what's your read as a developer on the whole Xbox One X? And hey, guess what? Console generations are dead. We're going to keep iterating on this one, and this is the Xbox family, and Xbox One X games will play on the Xbox One.
I love the backwards compatibility. I love the idea that like people will still be able to play Journey on the PlayStation 4, even though it came out on the PlayStation 3. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Just in general. Really, when anybody says like something is dead, I'm a little bit like, why all the hate? Like, why can't we just talk about the opportunities that we have? Like, can't we just be like, it's really great. Now you can, we can update everything online. You can play online. We can charge you digitally. You can get all these things. And like, here's some cool new game mechanics that are enabled by that. I mean, I guess that's not how marketing works, but my mind is always that way. It's like, oh, what's the cool thing that players...
They're trying to boil it down to a mainstream
they're like,
audience,
here's a bullet point. And I'm all like, I'm a player. What is the cool thing that games will be doing now as opposed to what they did before? So, we'll see. That's what I say.
Okay.
We'll see.
A wait and see approach.
We'll see.
Number 4, Destiny 2 PC players. Some Destiny 2 PC players are getting banned when they turn on the game.
Wow.
This is via IGN. Joe Screbbles, a made-up name,
that's rough.
Wrote this one. Hundreds of Destiny 2 PC players have reported being banned from the game with no consensus as to why. Multiple players have contacted IGN about the problem overnight, and both the Bungie.net forums and Destiny subreddit have been flooded with posts about the problem.
Yikes.
Some believed this to be connected to certain performance or chat-related overlays interacting with Destiny 2. However, Destiny community manager Cosmo has said that these programs are simply blocked and will not result in bans. Similarly, many players who have been banned say they haven't used any overlays. Many bans appear to be applied as soon as the game opens, perhaps indicating that a cheating countermeasure of some kind is being tripped. No time scale for the ban is given, simply asking affected players to visit the Bungie ban website.
That's rough.
That page explains, quote, there are no options to dispute or overturn account restrictions or bans, although the widespread nature of this issue would suggest it's a bug of some kind.
Yeah.
No alternative reasoning so far has been given for the bans. IGN has contacted Activision for comment.
I just feel so bad for the developer who figures out what that is.
Right?
Like, that's like some rando thing. It's probably just some random thing.
Yeah.
And nobody ever, guaranteed someone got a phone call in the middle of the night, get in here, figure this out, and they're just like sweating bullets until they get it patched.
I can't imagine the pressure of launching a game, let alone then getting something weird like this that you, like, how do you test for that? It's the same thing.
You can't test for it.
It's the same thing we always used to complain about at IGN a little bit. Kind of funny when I had 2,000 PSN friends, and that would break certain games. And it's like, oh my God. And it's like, they don't plan for people to do something that's stupid, right? Yeah, like I'm this weird percentile that's doing something that no one else is doing on this network, so why would you ever be able to go in there and be like, oh, that's going to happen if you do this?
No, this is one of those things where, like, again, because I'm a developer, whenever I see this kind of stuff in the news, I'm just like, my heart goes out to these people. I feel so bad for them. Like, it would be really, really lovely if they could just immediately figure out what it was and then retroactively go back and give everybody else back their access, but it's probably going to be a nightmare.
Oh, yeah.
And so they're going to have to comb through the logs and figure this stuff out. And it's a dedicated team. They love their players. I know they're working super hard on it.
Knowing Bungie, they'll fix it. They'll do it.
Guaranteed.
But it is that thing of like, imagine then, and I can only speak ever from the player side of it. I'm just like, I'm going to wait. I'm not going to play Destiny on PS4 or Xbox One. You guys have your month and a half or whatever of playing it. And then you get it and you're banned immediately. Like, God damn it. I just wanted 60 frames a second.
You know, I updated my iPhone the other day because it said that I should, and I didn't wait long enough, and it is just janky as hell.
Yeah, I haven't updated mine,
it's awful.
It's that thing,
like,
they're
don't do it. Don't do it.
The new one, so yeah.
Yeah, don't do the update until they've patch it. It's like killing the camera for me.
Number 5, the final item on the Roper report. There's no multiplayer in Wolfenstein 2, so as not to dilute it, says one of the developers over at GamesIndustry.biz. When we spoke to Machine Games narrative designer Tommy Tordson
Bjork
at Gamescom this year, thanks for the assist there, he insisted that it is only through this focus on single player that more interesting, immersive, and crucially progressive stories can be told. Quote, the only way we can create these super immersive narrative experiences is if we can solely focus on the single player. Having a multiplayer component to work Having a multiplayer component in this work process would just dilute it all. That's the danger if you try to do two things at once. We just keep our heads together and focus on making a really good single player game. Doing our thing is what makes the game great. None of the Wolfenstein releases since Bethesda rebooted the series, The Old Blood, a prequel that was published in 2015, have featured a multiplayer mode, and this very much reflects how Machine Games sees its works. When online modes are added to single-player games, Uncharted for example, or Mass Effect, they tend to draw attention to combat and violence at the expense of other, arguably more essential strengths. According to Bjork, Machine Games doesn't even regard itself as a developer of first-person shooters. We call them action adventurers rather than shooters, he said, because we feel there's so much more to them than just shooting. Single player.
This is the debate.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the debate, right?
What I've been saying, it's not going away.
I don't think it's going away.
Maybe AAA won't do it as much, but that doesn't matter because there's indies and there's studios like this that are dedicated to it.
You know, if you really make a good single-player game, people will enjoy it. Like, you know, people enjoy playing things by themselves sometimes. Like, I don't always feel like getting online with my buddies and, like, doing something. It's fine. Like, it's fine. But having said that, it is a tough time right now to be coming out and saying single player only is what we're focusing on, because if you add multiplayer, it dilutes the product. Yeah. Like, you know, that's a difficult thing to sort of sell in the current climate.
See, I think it goes the opposite, where like first off, this is from Gamescom, so Games Industry is like bringing this up in the heat of what's happening. Yeah. I think it's a great marketing ploy for them, right?
That's true.
Okay, money where your mouth is, gamers. Yeah. You all say you really want it. Let's make Wolfenstein 2 sell really well. Let's get out there.
Let's get out there.
And that's the thing of I'm playing it right now. Obviously, I'm not super far into it. And I can talk based on the embargo and stuff. Sure. Like I'm having a great time. The story is awesome, and I'm super into it. And it's that thing where my wife sits next to me and watches. She wants to actually watch me play the shooter.
Yeah.
I'm awful at it. Like, the game is fucking tough, and it's just taking me through the ringer, but like it's fun to play, and I like where it's going.
That's the thing. When single player games are super tough, they do the thing where they focus on a narrative that's really interesting and that a lot of people would want to enjoy. But when there isn't a mode to play it on easy, that does, I think, actually cut into their sales. And so I'm all about like single player with a ramp of difficulty. Like, I can choose to play a baby mode and just kind of like walk
There's baby
through
mode in this if you want.
That's good. That's good. As long as there's baby mode, then
it puts the pacifier in his mouth. I'm like, I'm not gonna play on baby mode. You know what I mean? I gotta try to get through this. Wolfenstein's coming up soon, but it's not out now. Robin.
Yes.
If I wanted to know what was out today, where would I go?
Right here to the bottom of the page.
Just read that thing.
It says, the official list of upcoming software across each and every platform, as listed by the Kinda Funny Games Daily Show hosts each and every weekday.
One day I'll start like telling the guest, like,
just
hey,
read this.
These are the one thing I'm gonna need you to do. Like, I'll point you at this thing. Don't you like me just springing it on them?
It's good.
Okay, cool.
It's like a test.
Out today. First off, you can play South Park for free. The first hour on PS4 and Xbox One if you want to get over there. Then, Air, Memories of Old on Xbox One and PS4. Mahjong, Royal Towers on PS4. Nightmare Boy on PS4.
Nightmare Boy has cool art.
Does it?
Yeah, it's cool.
Is it a cool game?
It's like a Metroidvania, kind of like, you know, you got to beat up the baddies kind of thing. But the art is just like kind of punk rock.
Okay.
Kind of like skateboard art.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's cool looking.
Sounds like a cool Red game.
Yeah.
Numantia on Xbox One and PS4, and then Stunt Kite Masters on PSVR.
Stunt Kites.
When do you bring? Tell me when do you bring in Luna to PlayStation VR? You gotta do it, huh? There's only so many VR headsets. You gotta get there eventually.
This information is currently under
all options are on the table for Luna.
We have made no official announcements.
New dates for you. Shadow of War is getting DLC. This is from GameSpot. Developer Monolith will add 4 expansions to the game, 2 of which come in the form of new tribes. First is the Slaughter Tribe, a gruesome tribe of orcs that are capable of ambushing players at any point. The expansion will launch this November and introduces new missions, a new fortress with an Overlord throne room, monuments and outposts, and epic and legendary orcs. That will be followed by the Outlaw Tribe, which is set to launch this December. The Outlaw Tribe is home to the most rebellious warriors in orc society. Like the previous tribe expansion, it adds new missions, epic and legendary orcs, and a new tribe fortress with Overlord throne room, monuments, and outposts. Wow. The remaining 2 expansions are story campaigns that'll launch in 2018. Then, the biggest new date of the day.
This is a big deal.
Metal Gear Survive is coming out February 20th.
It's actually shipping.
In the US and February 22nd in Europe. Ah, that's crazy.
It's coming out. They're going to do it. They're rolling with it.
I can't believe it. Okay, cool.
It's going.
We were just talking about this recently on a Gamescast or Games Daily where Tim's like, I don't know that game's ever coming out. And I'm
No,
like, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Here we go. We got it.
It's a real boy.
We got 2 questions. Let's get into them.
All right.
Alex writes into kindafunny.com/KFGD just like you can and says, hey, Greg, and esteemed co-host. That's you, Robin.
That's me.
What the actual fuck? Not only is Metal Gear Survive still alive, it has an actual release date. 22nd of February 28 is not far away at all. And what's even more of a surprise is that I'm actually kind of looking forward to it.
That's cool.
I know this is Metal Gear by name only, but god damn it, Greg, it's a new Metal Gear game. Are you guys hyped? Can you believe this thing is actually happening? Love the show. Keep up the great work.
Good job. First of all, congratulations. You know, it's a zombie game, right? I mean, It's a zombie game. You can play it single player or co-op.
Can you play single player?
Yeah,
okay,
it's got a single player mode.
Yeah.
So, could be good.
We played the multiplayer version at E3.
Could be good.
And it was very much, we walked away like, what the hell is that? Like, what are we, like, it was like, it's Metal Gear Solid 5's controls, which are totally awesome.
You can play stealth, apparently.
But then,
you can go through stealth, or you can go through waves of enemies,
yeah,
which is improved by the multiplayer
And you're
stuff.
setting up like this camp to defend, and there's multiple things.
Gear.
I've only played one kind of multiplayer mode, and it was very much like, what is this? What is this game? What are you going for?
It's a departure
Yeah.
from the franchise.
Of course.
So, you know, when you do that, there's always a risk that you don't have the mechanics to really justify the name on the box. And I think that's what the fans are going to want to know. Like, is this really a Metal Gear game, or is this a branded experience?
I would say I am not hyped. I'm interested. I want to know if this thing's going to be cool or a train wreck or where.
Yeah,
where
from a design perspective,
scale.
I'm actually really curious.
And how are they going to promote this? And how are they going to get out there? And it is this thing like, it was a weird thing at E3 even where it wasn't like, people weren't covering that like a Metal Gear game. And even at when we went and saw it, it was like other YouTubers around here. It's like, wait, are you inviting press? Like, what's going on? I don't understand what's happening right now. So we'll see. Next question isn't a question at all. It's a letter that was sent to my email from a Hip Hop Anonymous member of Konami. I thought it was important to read, even when I didn't remember you were on the show for a hot minute when I put this in there.
It's good.
Because it's about like, oh, there's a human on the other side making these games.
It's totally true.
Hi, Greg. First of all, and first off right now too, by the way, if you're the Konami person who sent this in, I've censored out all the information that would identify who you are.
Yeah.
So if you're white knuckling the steering wheel right now, afraid I'm about to blow you up. Hi, Greg. First of all, I absolutely love everything you guys do. From IGN to Kinda Funny, you guys have been hilarious, and I'm happy to listen to your shows on podcasts on my commute to and from work. SoCal traffic would be so much more full of rage and stress otherwise. This isn't really an email knocking anyone in particular, since I don't want you guys to change what you are or how you feel. But over the years, getting into the game industry these past few years in particular have been terrible for me and my coworkers at Konami. I absolutely loved the company growing up, and my job has been great. It's impossible to escape the negativity from the gaming community revolving around the company. I understand where it all comes from and have somewhat the same notion as the community in some regards. As a side note, I unfortunately don't have any knowledge as to the breakup between Kojima and Konami, and even if I did, I'm sure a million NDAs would keep me from talking about it.
For sure.
I tell myself that I've grown thick-skinned to all the negativity, and I try not to let it get me down, especially since I know I'm not being targeted. So why am I randomly rambling to you about this? I know you have a more personal relationship with Hideo than I ever will, and I understand you have a good reason. You have as good a reason as any to bring up the conflict with Konami, since you're now doing a daily game news show, which is insane. I can't believe you're pulling it off as well as you guys are.
It's great.
Although I love listening to you guys and other game channels, every time I hear you or anyone else making a jab at Konami, I can't help but feel personally attacked. Again, I know it's not personal in the least, and I'm not telling you to not crack your comments on the matter. I guess all I'm hoping to get from this was just a simple response to this, that you don't hate me. Just something I can mentally look back on and know that it's not something that I'm attached to and shouldn't feel this awkward depression whenever a comment is made. Always one of the best friends, Hip Hop Anonymous. 1000%. I do not hate you. No one at Kind of Funny hates you. And even though some motherfuckers out there would say differently, no one on the internet hates you.
No.
This isn't about you at all. This is about, first off, as we talked about this week on Kind of Funny Games Daily, when we're talking about the closing of Visceral and this, that, everybody's so quick to say EA's horrible, Konami's horrible. Somebody wrote in and was like, I get it all, but what if the game wasn't good? Like, you know what I mean? We don't know. We never will.
Never know.
Shouldn't we be a little bit more even keel on this? And that's 100% true.
I think people are getting that way just in general on the internet. Like, hey, maybe this is more complicated than just being raging.
Yeah. Who would have thunk?
Oh, geez, maybe we should actually have some nuance in this discussion.
Sure.
Let's get some nuance up in here.
No, I totally understand where you're coming from, and that's the point of like, you know, when we kind of, sort of, maybe know what happened with Konami and Kojima, but we don't. We weren't in any of those rooms. We don't know how it was.
Well, and I think the fans are really just, I mean, always, right? When people get riled up about this stuff or people make cracks, it's just like, I want to make sure that the game is like part of the universe that I love, right?
Yeah.
Fans just want the game to be part of the universe that they love, or they want it to be introducing something cool and new, or they want it to be exciting in these ways. And when that gets hyped and then they see strife between the developer and the publisher, or the publisher shuts down the game after a bunch of hype, it's hard for them. You know, it's like you got all excited and you got your ticket and then, the circus didn't come to town. So like, you know, but it's not personal. It's never personal.
Yeah,
you know?
It's about a brand. It's about what they've done.
It's about the brand.
It's about, I mean, that's the thing with Metal Gear Survive, where it's like, I've been a huge Metal Gear fan my entire life, and I'm like, I don't know about this thing. Like, you know, but it's because I know that this is like not under Kojima's umbrella, and he didn't have anything to do with it. And it's like, so it's just like, it could just be kind of like shovelware that came from a marketing person's 100%.
like bullet list. It could also be something that like started out that way and then it made its way down to a developer inside the organization, wherever they are, who really cared about it and loved it and crafted it and made it something amazing. Like when I was like years and years ago, I was working on The Sims, and there was a title called The Sims Castaway, which didn't do great. It was a PC title, and then we shipped it on the PlayStation. But it was a great mod. It was basically, you're on a boat and then the boat sinks, and then you go to shore with a bunch of other Sims and you have to survive on the island. And my friend Joe was the designer on the game, and they just thought of a lot of really cool ways to take the Sims universe and make it kind of like, you know, a 3-hour tour. You know, it was good. It was funny. It was fun to play. The mechanics were good. It looked a little janky. It didn't get the best artist. Like the team, you know, the team was kind of a Bad News Bears team, and like it was like a bunch of people that had been on a bunch of other stuff, but they really bonded and they worked together. The art director was a great guy, Chuck. Everybody worked on it and was very passionate about it, and I loved that game. Even though it wasn't perfect, even though it didn't look as polished as some of the other Sims titles, the mechanics of it were fantastic. Yeah. And so it started off as like, well, what could we do with the Sims? Like, let's make a Castaway game. But then those developers loved it so hard, and they worked late nights. They were always in there just modding it and trying. And so like, I think even the worst kind of like cheesiest marketing ideas can turn into really good games if the developers get the time or give the time to really polish it and make it lovely. So you just kind of never know. It's kind of a crapshoot. I think it was yesterday's show, but it might have been 2 days ago, where I told a similar story of talking to a guy who was a developer, and he's like, you know, he worked on a bad game, and it was that thing of going into it, nobody wanted to make a bad game, and he was really proud of the system he made and what his part of it was, but overall it didn't pan out to be a triple, you know, an amazing Game of the Year success. But the people working on Metal Gear Survive aren't there like, yep, fuck Kojima's legacy, let's make him shit snake, or you know what I mean? Like, it's like, no, they're like, hey, we got this job and this is our job, and we're gonna make something really cool. We're gonna try to make something cool. Yeah, they're gonna try the best they can. And like, you never know, did their budget get slashed? Did they get the headcount they needed? Did they get this? Did they get that? There's a lot of constraints that can keep a team from being able to execute excellent without killing themselves. But you know, I always give developers the benefit of the doubt. Always, always, always. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Nobody hates you. Nobody hates you. You're awesome. Keep doing what you're doing and on. Deal of the day. PSN's kicked off Sale of the Dead Week 2. There's more horror-ish, you know, like scary games. I don't play those games. No, they give you nightmares. Okay, well, that's one way to do it. That's good for everybody that has the stomach for it. You're happy for them. I'm happy for them. Okay, good. Not me. Reader mail. Maudima, I'm gonna say. Says, hi, Kind of Funny crew. How do you feel about the following idea? Instead of polling ideas in popular gaming communities, what if developers polled player opinion in games that are currently out? This idea came to me after your Titanfall 2 discussion the other day. What was the discussion? Elevator pitch was, yesterday I made the case that
Titanfall 2 wasn't a success, I feel like, because Titanfall 2 deviated from its message of Titanfall 1.
Okay.
I wish they would have said, as somebody who played Titanfall 1 and loved Titanfall 1,
Yeah.
I wish they would have been like, we heard you all. We believe in multiplayer only. That's the game. This is why we're making it awesome. This is how we're bringing you back and what we want to do. Instead, they listened to what I always talk about, where there's the community that plays a game and has feelings on it. Then there's the internet, who is never going to play the game. Or
and I felt like the
internet was very much like, fuck this game. It's full price and it's multiplayer only. It needs a single player campaign. Yeah. And they were like, hey, we put a single player campaign. And the internet was like, cool. We were never going to play it. We don't want to play it. But I just think that's how you should do it. You know, that's how you should pay for it.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then, Maudima continues. If people who didn't really play Titanfall 2 were the vocal minority who were asking for a single player on the forums, wouldn't it have been interesting to also get direct input from the people who are still actively playing the original game and probably know it best? I feel like this would have been an interesting source of information for the developer/publisher. It also saves me from having to stare blankly into my own eyes on these boring load screens. Peace. That's interesting. Yeah, if during loading they could ask you about your experience.
Yeah.
This is what you're talking about with your wheels clicking, right?
Yeah,
how do you talk to your player base?
How do you get people to give you information? Like, it's voluntary, right? Like, there's lots of ways you can do it. I mean, you don't have to do it even in the game. Just like activating a Twitter, following, like getting people to like answer polls, like making it funny and interesting, but also really being honest and saying, yeah, we know the game's not perfect. What are the ways, that we could make it better? What would you like to see? Like, I'm like this close to doing that with Luna. Like, there's a couple things that I want to put in the game for the November 22nd push, and I'm kind of on the fence about them. And I'm like, half of me is like, I should just pick one, or the team should pick. And the other half of me is like, well, why don't we ask people? Like, if you like this, like, vote this up. If you like this, vote this up. It starts to become more about having a community of players that really does feel empowered. And just to go back to The Sims, like, it was the first experience I ever had developing a game, and they had a huge player community. And so expansion pack time came around to design expansion packs. The very first thing that we did was we went straight to the forums and we said, hey,
what are your ideas?
Yeah, and you were out there on the forums as a public, you were like designer, like you had to be yourself. And you'd be like, hey, it's me, it's Hunter, it's Robin, or whatever. Like, we want to know this. And then people would just write back, and they were so engaged. Yeah. It was awesome.
That's the way you want it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great. I mean, if your community is not toxic.
Sure.
And that's the one thing that you have to be afraid of, is like, if you do have a toxic community, that's bad. But I think, as you're pointing out, generally it's not the community, it's the people that are outside the community that are
exactly.
Everyone wants to throw stones. I think that's totally fair. I think it's a great idea.
Okay.
Someone should do it.
There you go.
Good
Fix it.
idea.
Time to squad up. This is where one of you writes into kindoffunny.com/KFGD. You give me your name, your username, your platform of choice, and explain why you need help in a certain game. I read it here. The best friends find you. You all play games together, and everybody has a good old time.
Sounds good.
Today, Sonorith. Doesn't matter. The username, we're talking about being on PC. It's Game Go. Game Go. Hello, Greg and co-host. Long time, first time. Okay, so maybe it was just the one time, but I have to take my shot. I, along with my cousin, run a humble podcasting/streaming channel called Game Go, all one word. You, Greg, inspired me to start the podcast, along with Griffin McElroy. And now, I need some friends to come and listen to my beautiful voice.
Aww.
We talk about news stories, and we even review games. But more importantly, for now, we stream all kinds of games, and we will be doing so as part of Extra Life on November 4th, where we've signed up to be part of the Kinda Funny team.
That's
just
great.
like you can, kindoffunny.com/extralife. Point being, a call to action would be greatly appreciated and would ultimately benefit everybody involved, including the hospital. Love everything you guys do. Keep up the good work. The URL is youtube.com/GameGo. Then he puts live stream, but there's a space between go and live stream. So that's on you. I don't know what you should do. Game Go. Find him on YouTube. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Then, Robin.
Yes.
You're here for a new segment.
I am here for a new segment.
Yeah. I try to add one every day.
All right.
But we never come back to it.
That's a lot of segments.
No, it's not a big deal. New segment's called Play a Damn Mobile Game. Who's writing in? My name is Brad. Thanks for asking, Brad says. Kinda funny, goddamn. I'm going to come right out and say it. And before you say, Brad, you're crazy, you should go see a doctor, take your blasphemous ass out of here. I want you to hear me out. There's a good, dare I say, great mobile game that I think you and the best friends would like. I'm talking about the Stranger Things mobile game. Ooh. Imagine a retro SNES style game that takes place within the Stranger Things universe.
That's kind of cool.
I won't go too much into it other than to say it's fantastic. I figured now would be a good time to bring it up, seeing as season 2 is right around the corner. Thanks for all the great content and the great work. Smooches. Love, Brad.
That sounds cool.
I love you more than a best friend. Yeah, no. Many people wrote in saying that.
How do they know how much your best friend loves you?
That's a good question. I don't know.
That's a presumptuous thing to say.
Yeah. Well,
anyway,
yeah. A lot of people wrote in about the Stranger Things game.
I think
mobile stuff
sounds like a game to check out.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that series. I loved it. I binge watched it. I was very.
Are you excited then? Well, you're going away. Are you going to try to? What are you going to do?
Maybe I'll put it on my phone before I go. If I can download it before 4 o'clock when I leave.
You can't. No, it's out Friday.
Oh damn!
Because it's like Friday's that giant day.
I'll be in Shanghai then. So when I get back.
Okay. Do you play a lot of mobile games like on your phone?
We talked about this last time. Right now, all I've been playing is Lost Cities, but I'm really looking for something. So it's probably Animal Crossing
coming up. Gonna make some stuff and go to Kevin's house.
Yeah, I'm gonna have some leaves.
The house in your game, Kevin, not your real house.
Not your real house.
I mean, I'll go to your real house too. I've done that before. No big deal. All right, ladies and gentlemen, time to check in on You're Wrong. This is where you, if you're watching live, go to kindafunny.com/you're wrong. Tell us what we screwed up in this show so we set the record straight for youtube.com/kindafunnygames and podcast services around the globe. Xanther Sarah points out that Animal Crossing Pocket Camp is now live for everyone in Australia. If you want to change your region to Australia in the App Store or sideload the application on Android.
That's pretty cool.
I've been playing the game for 2 hours now, and it feels so much like normal Animal Crossing just in HD.
Cool.
I have so far acquired 45 Leaf tickets and over 4,300 bells.
Whoa, you're crushing it.
I have yet to come across any need to buy anything extra or being able to progress, unable to progress due to me spending real money.
That's amazing.
You get the Leaf tickets for logging in, doing quests, getting items for other residents, etc. You also get supplies for this.
This is great. Real-time review. That's awesome.
IMO. This is a perfect way to do things. So there you go.
All right. Day 1 download for me. Maybe even changing my region.
See, that was a great drop in. And I probably shouldn't have read it, but it actually fills up the conversation. But then people start editorializing. I just want to know what we screwed up here. You know what I mean? Hold on, doing this now.
What do we screw up?
No, that they're talking. It was Awesome-astic wants to say add some information. I feel like we've added enough information there. Black Hole ran from 1995 to 2005.
Ah, thank you.
Longer than 5 to 8 years ago.
Yeah, gosh.
The hardcover trade came out at the end of the run in 2005 as well.
Yeah, okay. That's what I'm thinking of when the trade came out. It is an excellent book. It's really beautiful. He has a fantastic ink style. It's just, it's gorgeous.
I got a game changer for you from Big Angry Dad 82, who is one of the few people who's actually excited for Agents of Mayhem.
Okay.
On Xbox Kinect being discontinued, you can now use a USB webcam with Xbox One for the likes of Skype calls and broadcasting on Twitch/YouTube Mixer.
Fantastic.
There you go.
You're not trapped to the technology.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Okay, here we go. This is a great one from Vane, a global moderator. Thanks for all your help over on the Kinda Funny forums. Bungie posted an article on why players have been banned before you went live.
Oh,
so
dang.
while I was doing the morning show, so here we go. We have seen lots of questions about bans being issued in the PC version of Destiny 2. To provide some information, we would like to share some facts. The following is true. Destiny 2 cannot automatically ban you. Only Bungie can ban a player after a manual investigation. Yesterday, we banned approximately 400 players on PC. Bans were applied to players who were using tools that pose a threat to the shared ecosystem of the game. We did not and will not issue any bans for the use of overlays or performance tools, including Discord, XSplit, OBS, RTSS, etc. Information on using third-party applications can be found here. There's a link. We are overturning 4 of the bans that were issued during the PC beta. Only 4. We are committed to providing an experience that is fun and fair to the millions of players who have joined this community.
So it wasn't a bug. It was a real thing.
Some people really being crazy people.
People being cheating.
A whole bunch of people wrote in with that as well. Thank you very much for
Thank you. Yeah, so that's a thing. Like, you make a game like that, sometimes you got to take the hard knocks and just ban people, and that sucks. But you shouldn't cheat.
Don't cheat. Play the game the way it's meant to be.
Don't put in bots.
Use your Leaf tickets. Yeah, that's how you do it.
So that was actually the thing that I think that we screwed up was we didn't announce that Wolfenstein's going to have
Leaf tickets. It's all one shared ecosystem now between Bethesda and Nintendo.
You're going to be able to make friends with the monsters and run errands for them and decorate their homes and then shoot them in the face.
Nice. That sounds like it's a good change for them over there at Bethesda.
Just a little kinder, gentler version of the game.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me. This is fantastic.
Luna out now on VR.
Yes.
You grab that.
Yeah.
Or wait for it to come to PC next month.
Yeah, November 22nd.
Okay, great.
Yeah, be out on Steam.
If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday on a variety of platforms, we run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about before jumping into the questions, comments, and concerns and all that jazz. You can watch live on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. You can watch later on youtube.com/kindafunnygames. You can listen on podcast services around the globe, but no matter where you get the show, thank you for supporting it. Remember, you need to write into kindafunny.com/KFGD to be part of it. And of course, tomorrow, the busiest lady in the business, Andrea Renee, joins us once again to co-host. Until then, it's been our pleasure to serve you. He made my Kevin fall in love with me. You ever heard that song?
Yep.
I mean, I changed some lyrics for you, obviously. Ladies and gentlemen, it's me, Greg. Thanks for watching Kind of Funny Games Daily. Let's go through the subs and resubs. What? What do you say to me, motherfucker?
I was going to say, that's weird. I've heard that exact version.
Oh, you've heard that exact version on the radio? If I read your name, you're a sub or a resub, and we love and appreciate you very much. Just like the Josh Couture, who subscribed with Twitch.